What's up, world? It's your boy Navigator X, aka Dot. And welcome to this segment of Ask Alpha Male. And in particular this particular letter, I will pick off the online, seeing as it's my first one, and I don't really have viewers to send me questions or send me stories. So I'm going to read one that I found online, and I'll be doing this until I get, a couple of people. If I can't get anyone sent directly to me for advice, then I'll have to go online. So, without further ado, let me get into the actual story. This was written by, let me read. This is written by a guy named Me Too. And it's entitled "I Hate My Wife." Horrible, selfish wife. Want a way out. I married this person I thought I loved about 2 years back. Worst decision of my life. Even during our courtship, we had terrible fights and arguments, but I always thought it resulted due to her past experience in previous relationships. But it wasn't. I was wrong. And it's just the way she is. She has problems. She is selfish, cares pretty much only about her needs and emotions. She has several strong traits of borderline personality disorder, childish, childlike behavior, deflection of all blame, impossible to reason with, the works. She is super sensitive without caring about the sensitivities of others. I've been put up with I've been putting up with her shit for a while now. I'm only using the word to, get the gravitas of the statement. I don't normally curse, so, and I don't really like it, so, but I will continue. But I'm particularly disappointed now. My folks are here, and despite their best efforts and mine, she doesn't give a damn. Not only will she not speak with them, but she won't let me spend time with them either. I'm seeing them after several years now. She is possessive and controlling, and all of this stems from something, um, some 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 effing insecurity of hers, and it sucks. She constantly accuses me of making her play second fiddle. What really gets to me is that she is happy and chatty only around her friends and family. Around mine, she is aloof, disinterested, or just plain rude. She picks apart everything my friends slash loved ones say and do. She takes offense to everything they say or do. She makes it a point to sit in a separate room or playing parallel activities when they are around. This makes it extremely difficult to have a nice time with my friends and family. It's particularly distressing because my friends slash family visit very rarely. For instance, my folks are visiting us for the first time since we got married. She always blames me when I try to prod her to speak with them, be nicer, or do anything differently. She is overly critical of me around my friends and family. She is visibly happier when they aren't around. I can't take this anymore. I'm at a point where I wouldn't mind ending it all, not just a marriage, if only I didn't have people that depended on me. Thinking back, she reacts negatively to anything I like passionately, from trivial things like clothes, cars, to big things like people. There was a time when I would do anything for her, but I hate her now. Hate the thought of going back home to be alone with her. Hate the prospect of having to spend the rest of my life with her. Marriage sucks, but I guess all of us here have already made that mistake. Okay. Um, my astute. I'm actually pretty astute. I actually have a few credits shy of my master's in psychology. So I'm actually pretty astute in psychology, but I'll give my assessment. First of all, what this guy needs to, this seems like the classic case of man not understanding woman, woman not understanding man. Um, Bruh, when you get in a relationship with a woman, you have to understand there are certain things that have been programmed into them since they were little kids. The things that we as men didn't have, which is that a woman from the time that she's little learns that her tears mean stuff, that how she feels is important. She finds out that when she's mad about something, her parents gravitate to her. They try to make it better. So she forms this cocoon of love around anytime she has the slightest bit of insecurity or bad feelings about her or her situation. Men, on the other hand, we are taught the exact opposite. Our feelings are never affirmed. When we feel certain ways about something, we are usually told to suck it up, or we're told stop crying, stop being a girl. So, as consequences, we learn that feelings are not important. Only things that are important are things that can physically harm us or put us in situations that are detrimental to us surviving, right? So men have very, very few things that really will emotionally get us involved in a situation. Women, on the other hand, like I said, they're very emotional, they cry, and they're kind of, like I said, because even from it's just something about, their hormones. I have a little daughter now, and every single time you raise your voice at her, you tell her something, she'll drop her head and she goes and walks away into a corner. While if you yell at a little boy, he'll either yell back or run or they laugh it off and they just keep going because it's just wired different. The problem is, and maybe it is because we treat little boys different than we treat little girls. When little boys cry, we tell them to suck it up, and nobody says nothing. But my wife has this look every time I tell my daughter to suck it up, or I tell my daughter to stop being a punk, or stop crying so much. She's only 2 years old, by the way. But when I say stuff like that, which obviously lends to the reasoning why my wife says it sometimes. But it's my show, so I get to defame her character all I want. But the point about the situation is, if I had a little 2-year-old son, I don't think she would be saying the same thing. And that's just the way we're hardwired. Everything that he said, I mean, aside from the way that she treats his family, I could say that probably is true about 90% of the married women in America, because they are taught that. They are taught that marriage is about them. They are taught that when they go into a marriage, that you will find someone to treat you well. What do they tell the little girl ever since she was little? Find someone who deserves you. What do they tell the guy? Don't be a scumbag. Take care of your children. Take care of your wife. Be a man. Never in that equation is how he feels or him being treated a certain way even taken into account. Her sole reason from the time she gets married is to find someone who will treat her the way that she thinks is ideal for that union. In other words, we are FUCK from jump. We are FUCKED from jump, because we can't do it. Nobody can live up to the standards that they have. And even worse, they've had people who have cared for them, their mothers and their fathers. Some unfortunately don't grow up with fathers, but I mean, that's becoming more and more common in this day and age with the promiscuity and all the divorces and separations. It's hard, but regardless, I'll stay going off on a tangent. But the point is, what you see is a errant lack of harsh reality to women. Like I said, they have fathers, and women just continue to want affection. They want to be, when they're sad about something, they want people to hug them and oh, it'll be okay, like their mom. And and the dad probably didn't do it as much. Probably just the mom. The mom is grabbing them, and they grow up with that. And little boys don't. So when you get to a certain age, and the boys who do are a little, because we're not made to be that way. And you will truly be, if you're a dude and you act like that, by the time you get out of 7th grade, you will be broken. You will be broken emotionally, physically, and at some point you're going to learn to control it, because if your parents don't do it, the rest of them boys, and the PE coach and the football coach and the basketball coach and the math teacher, anybody around you gonna tell you act too emotional, you like a girl, you cry too much, you do this, that, and third. That men gonna be broken. We will be broken out of that lifestyle. Women, on the other hand, they will never be broken out of that mindset, that their feelings matter, that they care, that they're sad, and they're always that marriage is about you being all about them, because every movie they watch from the time that they can freaking watch a movie has been about a queen who has been swept up by a prince, and she has done jack to deserve the prince's affection and love besides be beautiful to him. The freaking prince had to fight a dragon, jump through hoops, go cross country, risk his life, and the woman just is beautiful. Majority of the time, you look at those movies, the syntax is even worse, because if you, I mean, the context is even worse, because if you look at it, half of the time they don't even know that they've never known the princess more than maybe a day, and it made this impression that he just fell in love with her in that day. And they grow up watching these sitcoms where the woman is drowned in affection, drowned in caring. This guy who is nothing like the real guy. Nothing like the guy who's been kicked around and told stop crying from the time that he could freaking breathe. You know what I'm saying? You think that he's gonna be like that guy that you saw in The Notebook? You think he's gonna be like that guy you saw on Titanic? No, he's not. He's an actual human being. He's going to be like that sometimes. If he's a good guy, he'll be like that probably 35% of the time. But the other 65% of the time, he's going to be like you. You're like, why in the world am I doing all this stuff? What have you done for me? And if you can't respond with anything of value, then shut up. Dude, the problem with your situation is, I guarantee you, all this stuff that you continually keep bringing up, it's stuff that you probably tell her. And the worst thing about that situation is, if you continue to feel as if you are like, dude, when you get into a marriage, you like I said, you are FUCKED from the get-go. That's why a lot of men don't like to get married. I got married because I love my wife, and I'm willing to deal with the negative. And if you are not willing to deal with the negative, then you're just screwed, because no matter who you marry, you can get married. These guys who continually try to look for the girl who's not like the other girl that's gonna continue to keep you married, because all women are like that. They're raised all the same. You're never. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. There are too many emotionally dependent women bred in our society. You think you're gonna find one that's not. And the best thing you can hope for is a woman who may not be as emotionally independent, but she's probably going to have a lot of issues otherwise. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, when you get into a marriage, it's not about the things that you enjoy that makes a marriage great. It's about the things you can endure. The things that you can endure are what make bonds stronger. And when you get to a certain point, it's not about, I mean, I love my sister to death, love my brother to death, right? But we fought like cats and dogs when we stayed together. I thought he was selfish, thought she was selfish, thought she was immature, thought she was a crybaby, thought he was a selfish prick. But I love them. And that's what people have to understand about marriage. Marriage is the same way. It's like being married to your little sister or your little brother or your big brother or little big sister. It's like that. And people have got to stop seeing your wife as your best friend and start seeing your wife as like your sister or your brother. Yeah, they're gonna drive you up a freaking wall 90% of the time, but that's your brother. Same thing, that's your wife. She's not some feeling. She's not somebody who's there to make your life better. She's somebody that you love and that you got there because you cared about her, and because you felt as if the bond that you had was worth all the negative crap that you heard about marriage. Because I guarantee you, if you're a guy and you decided to get married, you heard about every freaking warning that you got saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?" It is not easy. And everybody thinks it's a joke until they get married. It's not. It's like I said, it's like being attached to the hips. It's like having a little sister that shared your money, all your personal space, and everything that belonged to you is now split. Everything you used to do, you can't do it because she has to be implemented in what you do. He has to be implemented in what you do, and as you going, what ends up happening? you lose sight of the fact that this about the bond. It's not about everything being rosy all the time. And I guarantee you, this woman that he's talking about probably has plenty of good qualities that he knows she has, but he won't put it in a paragraph because he feels it takes away from him. It makes him seem like he's crying, and it makes his case not as strong because he wouldn't be with her. She has to have a lot of redeeming qualities, or he wouldn't be with her. If that was just her and how she was every day, and I'm not saying that it's not patches, but she probably like that 90% of the time. But there's something about her that he likes, or he would not think twice about leaving. That's just that just is what it is. Whether it may not even have anything to do with him. Maybe she's a great mother. Maybe she's a good wife sometimes. But you just don't you don't stay in a relationship like that unless you have something that makes you stay. If she is bad all the time, maybe you should start asking. Maybe it is something that you do. I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying maybe it is, because a lot of times we're quick to see the fault in other people. We're not quick to see the fault in us. And that's the same thing. She's probably everything that you're doing now. She probably has a laundry list of things that you're doing, not even thinking about 90% of the things you just mentioned. So my point is you know, there are very few people who can get through a marriage because they've been taught in society that life is about the marriage is about making yourself happy. And what's the first thing they say? Well, life is too short. I shouldn't be with this person who's just making my life miserable. You know why your life continues to be miserable with that person? It's because you have already made up your mind that this is a temporary situation. Because you wouldn't even be thinking about divorce if you saw it as permanent. But you always see that you don't ever want to let go of that safety harness, because at any time you want to be able to just yank it and dip and exit the problem, and you ain't never building nothing with one foot out the door. You just not. When you start seeing your marriage as permanent, then you start making the corrections to make it better. When you see your marriage as temporary, you don't care about what you don't really care about the situation because it's only temporary. And when things don't go your way, or you hit a bad patch like every marriage does, where you're arguing every day and you're just hitting the thick of the thick, that person is gonna drop the floor out from under you, either cheat on you or do something, because that person has never seen this marriage as a long-term solution. He's always seen it as a short-term hell. And when you think like that, like I said, you're not building for the future. You're not making anything better. I'm trying to get one more letter in for you today, um, to the fans. So, okay. Now let me see if I can find one more letter online. Okay. This one is entitled "Angry, Unhappy, Violent, Depressed Wife." Okay. And this is by registered user Gladiator. And he writes, "It's been over a year and a half since I got married to my wife. We did not know each other before marriage except for a couple months of courtship time where an interaction were also minimal. We got married and a few months later moved together into a new country where I work. For the first few months after we landed in a new place, it was hell. Literally. I had to go through the following: violent behavior during which she would bite me, scratch me with her nails, hit me, and few occasions threw at me whatever came to her hand. It came to her hand. So he says She hit and threw things at him probably once every 4 to 7 days, lasting for about 1 or 2 hours, continued with profuse crying. Kept repeatedly telling him during these episodes that she wanted to undo everything of this marriage. Did a lot of hate speech, that she hated me to the core, about me on and off, and definitely during those violent episodes. She has a highly short-tempered and is ultra-sensitive. Sounds very familiar to what the other guy said outside of the domestic violence. To any kind of talking I do. I was completely scared to talk to her about anything because you never know how it would be perceived and interpreted by her. Her only intention during any conversation was to find fault with what I do, what I talk about, how I talk, etc., or end up accusing me of having insulted her when I didn't. Very, very adamant and arrogant. Never ever liked to get told anything, even the most basic things in life, and even done very politely. Sounds exactly like the other guy. Rather, she did not even like to do anything that I talk about. She always wanted to do the opposite of what I say. Sounds exactly like what the other guy was talking about. This kind of behavior stopped after around 9, 10 months when we decided to buy a new house and move in. I thought things would get better in the new place with me being in our own place. That didn't help much either. But definitely the intensity of fights and arguments reduced. However, the relationship was still in its downward trend nonstop. All this time, she was not working. After a break of around 1.5 years, she has got a job and started working. In the last 3 to 4 months, we did have strong arguments, and after that, we this guy's writing is terrible. And after that, we would live under the same roof with very minimal basic interactions for at least 2 to 3 days in a row. I have stopped arguing with her these days. If she accuses me of anything, I keep quiet. That will also infuriate her that I am not feeling sorry or apologizing. I would not have done anything wrong at all. It will all be her assumption. The basic problem I understand is that she does not trust me, not in the sense that I will have an affair. She trusts that I would not do that. At least that's what I think. I would also be very clear on this. I would not cheat on her under any circumstances. With other significant things, she does not trust me at all. She does not like me calling and talking to my mom. She does not want me to meet any of my friends. I had to really force her to come a couple of times. After that, I have stopped calling people home or going to other houses. Another problem that I have noticed is that she assumes a lot of things. I would not have said anything like what she claims I did, but she will insist that I said that and start an argument which will continue for a few days. I just keep quiet without knowing what to do. I am not sure how long I can survive like this. I am terribly afraid and scared of her, not attracted physically to her anymore. Minimal interest in having sex with her, unable to get emotionally connected with her, unable to speak my mind in any form or be by myself, and feeling totally suppressed and controlled by her. Nowadays, she has started saying that she wants to leave me after making some money. My understanding that she just hates living with me. I don't see any point in sticking to someone you are not happy with. So if she decides to leave me and go, it would not come as a surprise. I am okay with that if that will make her feel happy in or with life. I am not I am sure I'm not sure what is triggering this kind of behavior in her. Possibly her parents did not share a good relationship together. This is my inference from what she has told me of them. Her dad is a chain smoker with occasional drinking episodes. Apparently, he used to beat her mom as well, which she has witnessed several times. If I open any of these topics up for discussion, I am dead meat. Even though I want to save this marriage, I just don't want to do in this situation. Okay. Um, to my man, what was his name again? Gladiator. Um, well, it's this is pretty straightforward. What you're dealing with here. Your wife, uh, she has what I would refer to as a insecurity. She's very insecure, and the way that you're acting when you say that you're not sexually attracted to her, you're not emotionally connected to her. that you, when she says things to you, you don't respond to her. And I'm not saying that she isn't that you acting that way is not okay, or I mean it's not okay, but I'm saying it's not. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, or that you are wrong for feeling that this is the way to handle the problem. But I'm gonna tell you something. When you deal with your wife, and she's a person who grown up in a unstable household, who grew up with a dad who more than likely was probably physically abusive to her mother, and probably, I'm guessing, he wasn't the nicest person to her. She probably grew up with a lot of insecurities. Her mom, I'm guessing, probably has insecurities as well, because she otherwise probably wouldn't have been with a guy who beats her. Therefore, her insecurities probably went down to her daughter, which probably treated, because in a lot of cases when a woman is a battered woman, she tends to feel powerless, so she takes it out on the person, the people that she, the one thing she does have power over, which a lot of times is her children. So maybe not physically a lot of times, but they will verbally abuse their children if they are being a lot of times battered. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen a lot. Um, so your actions when you shut her out, the reason why she probably was more about it before she had a job was because she probably felt more worthless. She felt as if she couldn't do anything right, get anything right. So she started to do what her mom did, and when she projected those insecurities, she projected those insecurities onto you. And the same thing with guys who beat their wives, when a lot of times it's found out that the reason why they beat their wife a lot of times is because they feel as if the wife can't do anything right. um she's disrespectful, she doesn't respect me. And the same thing, that's how she feels you don't care about her. She feels that what you feel is just keeping the peace by not arguing with her. She probably sees you, which is directly related to why she assumes that you're cheating on her. She assumes that you're cheating on her because she incorporates that emotion that you give with caring. So when you stop giving her that emotion, or you stop giving her any emotion at all, she starts to feel as if you are starting to not love her anymore. So when she starts to feel that way, naturally she starts to try to find a way of 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 basically saving face by saying, okay, well, I'll leave him before he can leave me, or I'll make him feel worthless, which is what a lot of battered guys, battered women do. I mean, batterers do. They make the woman feel worthless because they want the woman to stay with them. So it's the same thing she's doing with you. She beat on you when she felt worthless, and she acted that way towards you and said that you were the problem, because she felt by making you feel worse about yourself, you would feel your self-esteem will put you in a position you where you felt less about yourself, which means that you felt you should be with her. When she got her job, her confidence went up. But I guarantee you, just like with anything, it's a new euphoria. When you get there, it's a high. When you first start working and you've been out of work for so long, you start to feel not as worthless. But as time goes by, you start to actually analyze what you're actually doing. And if it's a job that really isn't that prestigious or that great, you are more likely to go back into that depression again. And once you go back into that depression, then she starts to project again. She starts to try to make you feel bad about yourself a little more. And that's when now you're not reacting the way that you used to. And now she's starting to believe that what she's saying is not having an effect on you. Which is scaring her, because she probably is fearing that she's about to lose you. So she starts to project and act a certain way that is just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. and she thinks she's helping the situation because she's desperately trying to make you feel worse about yourself so that you can feel like that she is a catch. So what I would recommend is you have to start to be selfless just for a little while and understand that she's in a position where she has a lot, she's starting at a deficit because she probably doesn't understand what it is to be loved, and she doesn't understand what it feels like to be appreciated and to not feel worthless. And she probably felt worthless for a good majority of her life. And so what you want to do is you want to start to, at least for a little while, until she gets out of the funk, make love to your wife. Tell her how beautiful she is. Um, uh, when she does something that's remotely good, congratulate her for it. Give her so much positive reinforcement that she starts to feel like she's better. And when she starts to feel like she's better, I guarantee you it will change the way that she treats you. She'll treat you with more respect. She'll treat you with more dignity, because she feels as if she is higher, so therefore she's okay with you being higher. And sooner or later, she's going to start to realize that this is a good guy. This is a guy who treats me good, and I guarantee you it'll work out in the end. So as I said, that was just some questions off the top. Um, like I said, if I can do some live marriage counseling if need be, but I'll try to do some of those online. But if you have any questions, if you're out there and you're listening, and you have any questions about how to deal with with the problem that you may be having in your marriage or your relationship, give me a call. Send me a message. Let me know what's going on, and I'll try to give my advice on the situation. It's absolutely free. So I mean, what could it hurt? If you guys want to get some marriage counseling from me, and not and I said you don't have to sit here and talk to me. Just give me an overview of the situation, and over time I'll continue to keep addressing the situation and continue to keep addressing. I'll read it online just in case there's someone else who's going through the same situation, and because I would like the views, but go on and I'll read it online and I'll address it online. So, like I said, send me the messages and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can.